Hello, everyone. You are speaking with Higher Ways Woman, and I've got a conjuring story to tell you about. And I just got a phone call, and there is nothing like this story to be able to talk to you about the dangers, the real dangers of paranormal investigation. Now, I know that there are a lot of out there that are very legitimate psychics, mediums, empaths, everything. Okay, so I don't want anybody getting their spirit, spiritual energies in an uproar for what I am about to talk about, what I'm about to tell you, teach you all. Now, one of the things that I do, because it is one of the things that helps right off the bat to get a whole lot of understanding to where I'm not having to go into things, and especially that, as so many will misconstrue it as into bragging. So we always got these knuckleheads running around causing problems, spreading misinformation, etc., especially when it comes to people who really know what they're doing. Now, I'm going to give a little bit of recap here about my death experience. I was 30 years of age. I was in medicine. I hold records in medicine. I know what I'm talking about on the things that I will talk about. If I do not know about something, I will absolutely tell you that I don't know. So why would I be so foolish if I am so intelligent want to sit there and mislead people into things that I don't know about? I won't do it. Because there is, just because that you cannot see everything that is around you doesn't mean everything around you isn't around you. Right? Okay. Good. Now, death experiencer, 14 minutes while in the hospital. I was clinically dead. And yes, as many of you now know, and I can freely talk about this a little bit more, that, yeah, medical murder, yeah, it's really jumped up there, hasn't it? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, imagine that. Medical murder. Should have been like Dr. Robin Cook and gone into writing my stories, but only mine wouldn't be so much fictitious as it would be what I've actually been put through. But that's another story. But let's talk about what I know and why that I am still here. Okay, in the hospital 10 hours after admission. Bam, what was done to me finally killed me. And they didn't get their way because I was in the hospital, and what they did killed me. And so 14 minutes I was with, well, who do you want to call them? In the Christian faith where I was raised in, so I will use that because it's a universal term and everybody knows, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, God, Christ, and hello, surprise, I would never thought about Moses. Yes, I am the very first one, October 1992, very first one who had Moses showing up. And when I made that claim a few years later, because I didn't talk about a lot of that stuff because I had a whole lot of training to go through. I met this one man online that told me that he knew the equation, that how to transfer the time of spirit time into our physical time. And he said 14 minutes on the spiritual side is equal to 77 years physical time. Okay, for those who know about numerology, know just exactly what those numbers mean. Well, and then for those who don't, I'll tell you this. There's two numbers that are called the God number or God goddess, because as above, so below. You can't have one without the other. And actually, every person has male, female side. Left side is feminine, spiritual. Right side, masculine, physical. Okay. Anyway, 77 years, which I said, yeah, I believe that, because everything that was shown to me, there's no way that I could have known about this advanced technological knowledge, equipment, how they were using on people, nor that as well that what they all gave me, to which I said, this world is not ready for this. And they are especially not ready for a woman to come in with this kind of knowledge, because that the program, the Atlantean male program, is made everything so male dominant that we've got men on the rise where that basically you got almost more male relationships than you have male female. But I don't really care about it. All I'm saying is that the program that they're running to be a male dominant planet is why I said this is not a good time. I'm a woman. Do you know what they'll do to me down there? And Christ goes, yeah, same thing they did to me. Oh, that's just great, Christ. That's exactly what I want to have happen to me. Not. Oh, no, no, no. I don't want to come down here and be put on a cross. I don't want to be tortured. I don't want to be crucified. Christ wants to do that. That's his business. That's his life. Not mine. Not mine. Do it all day long. He wants to. I don't care. Well, as you see, I didn't win a debate. And yes, I've had many, many attempts on me. I've been tortured. I have the scars. And I'll tell you this, there ain't no kind of fight in this world like taking the fight that you'll be in when you are taking children off the feasting tables. And you'll find out who's really human, who isn't. And my God, not one man stood with me. Not one. Not one Christian. But I'm not here to talk about that. Let's get into what I am here to talk about. I want to talk about a conjuring in Nebraska. Now, as you see how fuzzy everything is, that's the electromagnetic field with Wi-Fi, cell towers, satellites. I've got neighbors who all got it, but we got below ground, and we also have these power lines and losing electricity on down the line. Anyway, electromagnetic field, this is why I don't look clear. And this is the reason why people are hurting so bad. Teeth are rotting out of your head. Teens are even in dentures, because this right here dries out your body. Dry eyes, dry mouth, no saliva, dry skin, Raynaud syndrome, which is actually it's another way of saying radiation off the keyboards. Anyway, I want to tell you about this story because I just got told, just a few minutes ago, that I got this phone call This is a case that I've been working on since last year or so, and they would not listen to me. And now that things have gotten so bad that they are listening, but the person that is was refusing my directions because they did not know what they were doing, and that's one of the biggest problems we have with paranormal investigators today, is because they think they got this equipment and what have you that well, they can go in and to these haunted places, and the minute anything happens, they start screaming and running out there like, scared kids. And they're doing that because they don't know what the heck they're doing. They don't. They haven't prepared themselves to enter into those places. They don't have the covering. And actually, there are some things that are in religion that will help, can absolutely help. But there are other things that are in the spirit realm that those of us who know, um, it's more powerful than that. But okay, let's get into it. All right. I have a very dear sister that I will name her Mary. Mary was going through a divorce, and she had a couple property homes to sell. In one home, she was letting her daughter, whom I will call Dawn, to stay there. And she had two little girls, and unfortunate things came about, and she temporarily lost her two kids, and so was in the midst of that. And one day she learns that her daughter had supposedly hung herself. Um, I'm with Mary. I'm not buying that so much because there are some elements that are involved in there that need to be taken a look at. But these days, as we know, we don't have a whole lot that should be caring that worth these kind of cases. I care. So she needed to be able to get the house painted, some things fixed so she could get it on the market and get some good money out of it. Okay. Calls me while her and some friends, young friends, were in there, and footsteps, heavy stomping footsteps on the stairs, and the cabinet doors are flying open and things are flying out and all kinds of stuff is going on. Scared to death. Oh, yeah, well, yeah. When an entity or entities will make themselves known in broad daylight, you are dealing with a very, very powerful entity. This entity rates far above those who just show up at night. And so I told them about, you need to go to the store, and there is one thing that you need to get. When you get that, call me. Now Mary's telling me that they have these people who worked on the Conjuring. It's Ed and Lauren and the Warrens. I can't believe I can't think of her name. Ed and Louise Warren. Anyway, the Warrens. I'm so sorry. Forgive me for that, because I have a lot of respect for them. They were doing things long before we ever reached the age where we're at. So anyway, these people who supposedly worked on the Conjuring that came out several years ago, were coming to her home that night, and they were going to get rid of these spirits. And I told her that I will be on the phone helping with this. And I had not received a phone call back from Mary and her friends before these people showed up, these two people, which told me they did not follow what I told them to do. Now, this is going to have very serious repercussions. And so I knew that Dawn had not been able to leave that house. I knew that she was captive there. I knew that. And I knew that we can get her out of there. And with those people working there, well, then I will, as long as I've got the phone and I'm connected, well, okay, we'll get her daughter freed from there. And I had told them, I'll call him named Joe. I told Joe, all you can do, and you only got a few minutes, try to give the most important things that you know could mean the difference between life and death. And I told him, I said, if they pull out an Ouija board or a spirit board, you shut it down. They don't know what they're doing. Anyone who needs that modality is only opening up the doors for demonic beings. It will not connect with the live in spirit. Now, what is alive in spirit and which is dead in spirit? Okay, that which is alive in spirit is what we call being in heaven. These great, righteous, pure soul, celestial beings. That's alive in spirit. Dead in spirit is what we humans in religion refer to as being in hell. Okay? Purgatory, whatever you want to call it, they're dead. They are dead in spirit. Okay, so now then, it was the Babylonians who did this because the breastplate of righteousness was seized by them. And they knew it connected with the spirit realm, but they did not know how it worked. And so it connected with the dead in spirits. Now, it's any family section of board games at your local Walmart and other places. So bring on in the demonic beings. So I told him also that if you felt that you were under attack and you needed to get a spirit off of you, say the words, I rebuke you. Now, if you want to put a little bit more power into it, via now using the Christian wording, you would say, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus Christ. You don't have to be a follower. That name and that identity, because there has been so many people throughout the centuries that have been told this name represents this person, and so they pray, they conjure really that alive in spirit, but they have made that name, that person, very powerful. They have put their energies, their soul energies into it, and that's why that a cross, not a crucifixion, get rid of those things. Sorry, Catholics, I'm telling you, take a look at which ones end up upside down, or the ones that are. Anyway, I prefer just a plain cross. Don't have a human that looks that sick. Okay, just don't do it. Don't do it. anyway, okay, have a regular cross on you, empty cross. They say, they say this: a crucifixion has that skeleton of a man who has been tortured, beaten, hanging on a cross. That's evil's victory over pure souls, good righteousness. The empty cross is the victory over, that's a pure righteous goodness soul over evil. Okay. Now then, I can tell you that yes, I have found that a regular cross, not a crucifixion, I have found that, yeah, because people have thought that way, yes, more powerful. But anyway, here's what happened. As I was on the phone with them, there's at one point I knew we got Dawn out of there. And I text my dear sister Mary. And about 10, 15 minutes later, she sits there and tells me that the psyche that's working there is said that, well, now they got Don free. Yes, it takes back, yes, that's what I just said. And how it happened is that the male entity that was there, of course, picked my present up, my presence, and I was in my backyard. I'm walking back and forth. It's nighttime, and right before that happens, I get he's here to me. And I'm about to turn around and he tells me that he is going to scare the daylights out of me. And it's, no, you're not going to be able to do that. Oh, yes, I am. And I turned around and here he pops up, and he's got the red eyes at me. And I'm just kind of, yeah, okay. Yeah, no, that didn't scare me. And so, when they get done, now let me tell you about what starts happening. They had Joe was trying to break into the rap music, and he had in Kansas. He had a show to go to the next night. And they drove down there, and all of a sudden they had car problems. And then Joe gets very ill. They take him to an emergency room, and really there's nobody there but them. But all of a sudden, all these people start coming in, and they're taking them back before him. And I know what's going on there. I know exactly what's going on there. And I knew he ain't going to get seen for a long, long time. And I said, put Joe on the phone. I said, Joe, very important. What are your symptoms? Because remember, those who don't know, my doctorate's in radiology and gastroenterology. Okay, so what are your symptoms? He says, well, he's throwing up and he's belching. He goes, and I really hate to say this, Catherine, but he says, tastes like poo. And I said, yeah, that's why I asked you. Because the bowels of hell, the bowels, you see? Okay. They did not follow what I told them to do. They were completely open. That's why all these paranormal investigators, not all of them, a good percentage of them don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're messing with, and they don't know how to handle what is there. Because some of these are very powerful beings. And if you don't give them that kind of respect, you're an idiot, even more so than the rest of the idiots. And so, anyway, excuse me, like I said, this dries out. So, the following day, no, it's about 2 days later, Joe is on his 10 speed, and it's one that's got a motor on it that he can change over to. Thing about function and took him into street. But he was very lucky that the minute that happened, there was no oncoming traffic. But the freak accident resulted in him having several stitches in his calf of his leg. And I am now at the same time, I've been having manifestations of this entity in my home. And there was one time in the afternoon that I had fallen asleep and I felt this pushing down on my feet. Well, generally that's one way my mother will wake me up, whatever time, day or night. And I open my eyes expecting to see her. She's not there. Where is she? She's asleep. Oh, oh, okay. Well, there are more things that are happening with Mary. I mean, she's going off the deep end, busting out windows of ex's car. The drinking is more heavily. She's lost her daughter. She's hurting. The police will not investigate it. They said that it's drug related. They're not going to go further into it. The guy she was dating, yeah, he was into drugs. Well, so, oh, yeah. Well, there's one reason why if you are into drugs and they're not investigating your girlfriend's hanging death, and go ahead. Okay, yeah, all right. So anyway, she's hurting more. Of course she is. Of course she is. Now then, these guys that are coming along and they're supposed to help with getting the house where she could sell it, and problems arising from them. Well, first of all, let me back up a little bit before her. This one ex, where she busted the windows out of the vehicle that she sold him. He was ownership. She sold it to him, but she ended up with uh, several fractures in the head of the humerus bone. That's what it's called, humerus. And so she's getting roughed up. Got another ex that slams her into a door, breaks her shoulder blade, and all these things are just one of the guys that was staying there for 3 weeks and supposed to be helping to renovate. Um, was a real jerk, and he left and ended up in a freak accident, killed. There was a total of three of these guys that would come along to help, and they would get into the drugs and everything, and then next thing you hear, well, two of the three ended up dead. One of them, he's spent a long time in prison. And then now we get here to not too long ago, she's had to have a hip replacement out of nowhere. While she's recovering with it, she ends up with a broken digit. The place that she's renting is a nice little place, and all of a sudden the plumbing's going bad. The fixtures are falling out of the. Well, okay, let's back up. So I tell her, I want to talk with these people because the second manifestation, I'm sorry, I'm very, very tired. I went through a big ordeal this 3 days ago, very, very big. And that's all I'm going to say. So there's one night, it was 2 nights later, that I hear my name being called. Only this name is one that only my family, there's a couple names that about three, that my only my family knows, okay? Ever called me by it. And so I hear it, and I hear it in my mother's voice, and I wake up, and my mother's not there. Where is my mother? Oh, my bed, here it is, 10 o'clock at night. She's in bed sleeping. All right, what is it? I'm talking to this male entity. What is it? He tells me that this home, him and his wife built that home. It's a 2-story, it's a nice home. You know, it ain't extravagant. It's a 2-story, it's colonial times, and they built it. It was in rural area, rural America at the time, and it was sitting on some wealth. And of course, you got the mafia, the British English mafia, those who want to come and take from you. And they were not going to let them take their home from them. They did not want to sell. It was their land. They worked it. It was productive. They were happy, and they lost their lives over it. And there was along the way, because that had happened, that there were more there who were falling victim to the territory. But anyway, the spirit went on to tell me that um, that they had captured his wife, and he wanted his wife back. If he would get his wife back, everything would stop. And he would tell me that they are using these electromagnetic energy technology to control them, to manipulate them and make them do things that they would not normally do. And I believe him. I'm going to call this spirit Eugene and Sally. Okay, Eugene and Sally. Don't know why, but I'm just picking those names. Okay, so Eugene, he's a burlesque, he's a burly man, and beautiful, beautiful wife. While these people were there, the psychic captured a spirit in the jar. That was his wife. He wants his wife back. He will stop attacking. He will stop his attack on Joe to take his life, because I would find out from Joe that Joe sat there and said that while they were trying to capture this spirit, that he said, I rebuke you, I rebuke you. And it made the spirit less stronger, and they were able to catch this spirit. And this spirit is Sally. And I said, I will do what I can. I know that if I can get them to bring that jar back to that house, this be out in the yard, that I would be able to, and Eugene was good with this. I said, I will have you two go to before the Supreme Council, and you all can work things out among you. And we will stop all this that's going on. I can do it. I know how to do it. I've done it. And so, Eugene, absolutely agreeable. Just give me the woman that I love. Okay. Okay, because I can also tell that's the man she loves. And so, us, sisters and brothers, we know what that love is like. So, I finally get Mary to give me the names of these two people. And no, they didn't work in the Conjure movie, and I knew they didn't. I could pick up that they didn't. She kind of said, well, they kind of knew the people who were, it's like, I'm not even sure about that. Doesn't matter. Anyway, I want to call him Les and I don't know, Tigi, which I'll Tigi. I'll call the woman Tigi and the guy Les. Okay. So I call Les, starting out there, and he gets Tigi on the phone. We're at three-way conversation. I tell him who I am. I am the one who was sending Mary these text messages. I am the one who can do all these things that you see many of them don't, because I was given far more abilities than what you just generally hear about people having one or two, and not only more than that, but ones that you don't hear about. So anyway, I tell him who I am, what I can do, and he tells me, he goes, okay, he says, tell me about my home. And I said, is this a test? Oh, no, no, no. Well, I don't really care. That's child's play to me. And I'm fine. Because you really should. You really should test people, you know. And so I began telling him, I said, on your walls, you got, and they're actually, it's a dark blue, and your trim around the doors and baseboard is wood, but it's not painted. You have it all natural. It's got the varnish in it. Beautiful wood. Yes, yes. Okay. You're sitting in a chair that is a rocker and recliner, but it is also a greenish blue. It's not leather, it's cloth. Yes, on all counts. All right. Well, what else can you tell me? I said, well, you got a basement. Yes. And I said, and on that wall, you have claw marks. Yes. And let's see, I think I asked for I said, you got holes in your basement. One, I feel like in a wall, one in the floor. Yes, because there are those that have sump pumps. I had one when I was growing up in our home. So yeah, yes, on both parts. I said, all right, now I can see this male entity, and he's wearing a cloak, and this automatically got Tigi jumping in there and going, now remember what I said about, this is where we get where that you got one who wants to try to trump the other. And it's a sad thing that it's like this, that there are actually many like it in this field. It's the same way with MUFON. I've been a guest speaker at it, and when I meet these people, tell me they're investigators, and I said, well, what are some of the things that you investigate? Can't talk about it. What about, well, in general, when you do it, can't talk about it. And it's like, I said, this is going to be a short conversation. I see already. Can't talk about it. Yeah, I'll talk about it. I'll tell you. I don't have any problems with it. I want people to know about these things. Because if you know about it, then you're going to know how to handle it. And that's exactly what I want you to be able to do. Because if you are handling it the way that it should be handled, well, we're going to get the upper hand. So, absolutely, I'll talk about it. But anyway, um, I tell Tigi, I said, listen, I said, you got a spirit in a glass jar. And she says, well, I'm really impressed that you said a glass jar and not anything else. I said, okay. I said, well, there you go. Just more validation of what I'm talking about. I said, I need you, because I kind of explained to her what's going on. I said, I need you to go back to that property, have me on the cell phone with you guys, and we are going to save Joe's life and set these two, and I'll handle where they're going to go to. I don't make I don't make deals with spirits. I said, when it comes to a human life, I will choose that human life over a spirit life any time. That's a no-brainer to me. I can handle this. I am not going to sit here and have a spirit commencing to wiping out lives all because I got an idiot here that doesn't really know what they're doing and is refusing cooperation, and now it's getting people killed and a lot of damage being done. And nope, absolutely not. Will not cooperate. Will not cooperate. This only took 4 weeks after their visit to start having all these terrible things happening. So now, that was last year. Now, I get a call today from Mary. The last few weeks, we've been talking about everything, and it's like, people will not accept certain truths until they are ready for it. When they're ready for it, you can bring it on. They can handle it. And so know how to discern that, okay? Because it's not your job to be their teachers. You can make the offering, like the old story, saying goes, you can lead a horse to water. Here's the offering of the water, but you can't make them drink, okay? So you can make the offering there. Here it is, presentation. They don't want to accept it. You go on, because there's somebody that's going to be in their life. Whatever's going to happen, they'll be ready to accept it. So know that it's not your job to help whoever comes along. Your job may just be that you know somebody who can help them. Maybe just a direction. Just because they come across your life does not mean that your job is to help them, because there are people who will take you and take you for everything you've got, make you do the work. There's a saying I got: it will behoove a person to know the difference between those who are grateful of their gifts to those who only dispose of it. Nah, what else you got? Nah, they always got a story, and when you try to help them, here you go. And they go, yeah, okay, what else you got? Okay? Know the difference. Know the difference. You just get it down to these two people, and you get really good at discerning them. Less headaches and financial problems and everything else that you're going to have. All right. Now then, to the phone call today that my friend Mary, she has been trying and trying and trying to get Tigi to give up this glass jar, and she has brain cancer. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and go, well, hey, if she just listened to me, this is the reason, this spirit is attacking her. Now, I am not going to directly say that. The only thing that I am going to say is, you got to understand that when you are dealing with what you cannot see, this is a very dangerous position that not only that you're putting yourself into, but whoever else is there. Because even seances, and yes, Christians have done seances. There is a way that you do this, and there's a passage from the Bible that you read and a song that you do sing. Now you have made a connection with the alive in spirit. And I know I have that information. But anyway, brain cancer. She has brain cancer. Oh Lord God. Well, I know a treatment that will give her the best chances in the world, but you know, you can't help but think it, right? You can't help but think it because here these people are getting killed, and another one is in prison for a long time, and the other one is having all these attacks and health maladies. And then my good friend, she's got these guys that are just sitting there beating the well out of her. And out of nowhere, she's having this being done and that being done, and, in and out of the ER and in and out of the hospital. And, very sad, very, very sad because she's got such a wonderful, wonderful personality. It's just really sad that what she's going through. But this is, well, anyway, again, I am telling this because it is so important to get it across that the paranormal is far more than what you're going to find in a book. And death experiencers, there are those who can really help with this. But now there are things that take a much more advanced person. As I said, I'm not afraid of these entities. I'm not afraid of interacting with them. I know what I am doing. There is, though, that I would say this. There was an investigator for the Skinwalker Ranch, Utah, as many of you know, and I worked with this investigator for several weeks, and I will not do that again. Do I believe in aliens? Well, I don't believe that we are far being the only creation on the planet. I think that's kind of idiotic to think that we could be. But I have also been told that there are as much as a billion other Earths, and it was like, well, yeah, I would believe that because look, it's beautiful. This is a beautiful, beautiful planet. If we can just get us who are aliens on here, where we don't have these that are destroying it and just slaughtering and taking whatever they want and lying to the people. That's the greatest thing that we've got to break free from is all these lies. But anyway, we know that there are underground bases called, abbreviation are DUMBs, deep underground military bases. And we know that there are underground cities. We also know about the Dreamland, which is the rail train tunnels, and that they've got this machine that can just sit there and hit it with rock with this energy, melt it, and by the time that it stops, here's a circular opening, and the rock is just polished hard. They don't need any supports or anything. I've heard that the last time that I read anything on this, that they were able to reach, I think, Mach 4 and literally go from East Coast to West Coast in a little over an hour, just barely over an hour. Yeah, I believe it. I live here in western Oklahoma in Elk City, We've got tunnels under here. I can hear them. where I live at, there is a tunnel that's nearby. You can hear that thump, thump, like on the interstates, where they got the spacers at, thump, 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 thump. It's an underground tunnel. Walmart can deliver from store to store for a lot of it and never be above ground. So anyway, where do we know where these places are at? Well, they take a lot of energy. It takes a lot of energy to run all that underground stuff, electricity for lighting, electricity to run their vehicles. Well, where are they at? Look for where the wind farms are. But anyway, I just wanted to toss that in there, you know? I just wanted to toss it in there. I can do home clearing, I can do land clearing, and I can also close up wells and portals. And I can do far, far more than just all that. I can help with a lot of problems. I can come in and help show you areas that you really do have problems with, what it is that you can do to close up these problems, resolve them. And so I am for hire. And you can best reach me. Go to facebook.com/hirewayswoman. Talk to me about what's going on and how that we can help each other out. But so now, get back to this, folks. Don't be encouraging these who have got these cameras, they got this EMF, all this stuff. They're going into these places that they are nowhere near in a position ready to deal with what appears, what happens, because even as we're seeing with jinns, these beings, they're not just, you're not dealing with just these type of spirits, you're dealing with also what CERN and some of these have been doing with stargates, opening up these portals and these realities, these alternate realities that here we are, we're running side by side, or as what we also know, worlds coexisting with other worlds, and they are breaching these. And these who are in these other realms, that when they see us, they're as freaked out to see us as we are them. And there are times that they are literally bringing these entities in, and they're getting stuck here, and we're running into them. But I got something I think you guys will be very interested in. Chernobyl, the nuclear plant in Russia that suddenly went into a meltdown. Well, nuclear energy is actually extremely safe. It really is. You've been lied to about it, because if you knew the real truth, well, they just don't want people stealing the energy, because what they're storing, if there's any type of energy breakdown, we will be able to run off of it for a long time. and as if we've never had any of the electrical grid taken down. But anyway, let's jump off of that and let's go into what I'm talking about. Chernobyl. There was an entity that looks almost like real heavy fumes, gas fumes. You remember the Alien and the Predator? Remember how that thing looked? This isn't somebody's, well, it's not just theatrics. This thing really does exist, and it has been seen, and its effect on people is pretty powerful. And they were messing with this entity, and one of the ways that it moves is through water. Missing 411. Sure seems to be a lot of people who they end up finding near water, or they're on a boulder in the middle of a river. How in the world did they get there? They didn't shut it down in time. This thing got out. David Pilates, I just solved your missing 411 cases. And I'm going to stop at that. But folks, here is Tigi, who told me that she wasn't going to make a deal. I don't make any deals with spirits. You should have listened to this master. This is how serious it is, folks. This going into these places and buying these boxes offline, seeing if they have any ghosts and if they appear, what comes in. This is really crazy behavior. This is Hollywood stuff. This is, oh, I'm bored, I want something to do. Johannes Greber, I'm going to give you a name. Johannes Greber. 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 Johannes Greber. So, if you got some problems and you need some help with what you got going on, as I said, get a hold of me. One of the best ways to get a hold of me is to go to facebook.com, Higherways Woman. Send me a PM, and I will do everything I can to help, because having this kind of problems, as you can tell, is very serious work problems to have, but they are solvable. We can do that. So I hope you all and your loved ones are doing good, hanging in there. I know quarantine has made a lot of people doing very crazy out of the normal behavior. Try to sit there and keep doing what so many of you are doing, where you're helping each other, you're reaching out to one another, you're thinking beyond yourself, which is exactly what we are so needing to do. It's pulling in this greater spiritual energy. Keep up with this, keep bringing it in, and as one thinks, as the saying goes, it's a thought that counts. So think about that they cannot succeed against us with their stupid so-called pandemic and vaccines sit there and think that they are taken down. The truth is revealed about what they're doing and the corruption that is entering our government. If you will think about them going down, them being caught, and that we get pure souls in power, in politics, and in medicine. I don't care about anything else. If you got pure souls running the governments, running all these businesses, life, you've got pure souls in medicine, where medicine is bestowed as a gift because it's not that hard. It's not hard, folks. We know the body so well that I was able to not only gain 5 years of medical knowledge schooling, but I was performing as a fifth year med student within the first 8 months of my first year. I had no prior medical training. Yeah, they did a lot of testing. I started getting suspicious about it, that it sure seemed like I was having a lot of tests, and I had things that were very elaborate. I mean, this could be on Patch Adams, the elaborate setups to see if I could do this. That's when I became suspicious of there is something really going on here. And at that point is when they started coming forward and telling me that, yeah, that they had been testing me to see just exactly how much did I really know in a short period of time. And I was giving access to any university, any medical facility of my choosing, up until, well, read Dr. Robin Cook was one of my favorite medical authors. He is the one who helped develop the medical investigator within me. And phenomenal man. He's on Facebook too. Read his books. He's the one that wrote the book and became a very famous movie in the 70s called Coma. That's who Dr. Robin Cook is. So anyway, look that up because, well, watch the movie. You'll start thinking along the same lines as the rest of us. So y'all take care. I am Miss Catherine Toleradon Masters, aka the TLG. Most of all, I am Higher Ways Woman. God bless. Namaste, y'all.